All right, welcome to another video on the Deimos Dive channel. I realize it has been quite a while since I've made any uploads on this channel. It's intended as a secondary thing to my main Here on Mars YouTube channel, and last couple of months for Here on Mars have been pretty busy. I put out a record called The Abyss Stares Back in March, and I've been working on lyric videos and streaming Friday nights on Twitch, just working on some Metroid covers to kind of get out there. So to those of you who may have noticed it's been a minute, apologies. So what I'm doing tonight is for my buddy Syndustries, and he is like me, lives in a place where he can't, have a super loud guitar amp for recording. He has tried several things. He is, direct solutions like the UA Lion, can't quite get what he's looking for. Uses a Marshall DSL 40C CR, I think that's the combo, and likes the modern Marshall sound. And so we were talking, and I said to him, you just need to get a Torpedo Captor and put it between your amp and speaker and record it and stick an IR on it in Reaper, because it's the best possible scenario for somebody in our shoes, right? Can't play super loud, but wants to use an amp and be able to kind of tweak the sound afterwards, not be kind of 100% stuck on something. You can play through your amp, capture the sound of it as it's on the way to the speaker, and then you can add the speaker later in post. So I'm going to just show you what I've got going here tonight. And I realize it's not the prettiest thing to look at, but I kind of just threw all this together, so bear with me. But what I'm playing through is a Diesel micro head into a single 1x12 V30. And I've got that mic'd up with a knockoff SM57. That's an SM57 made by Pile Audio. I think you can get them on Amazon for $20, because my real 57s are at my drummer's house. The bastard thinks he can just keep them over there to mic up his kit all the damn time. So anyway, I have the knockoff 57. It's not bad, it does the job. I wouldn't go around hammering nails in with it like you could a real SM57, but that's okay. So the next thing you're looking at here, the Torpedo Captor, and maybe I'll put a little ring around it on screen or something in post, but it's that little box on the right side of the speaker cabinet, and the Captor goes in between the amplifier and the speaker cabinet. So we go out of the amplifier into the Captor with the speaker level signal, and then the Captor has a speaker output that I can then go into my amplifier with, and which I have done. But the Captor also has two outputs that you can use to get into your audio interface that don't involve the speaker cabinet. And these outputs are used for different reasons. There's an XLR DI out, which you can... the intent of that is like if you're at a gig and you don't want to mic up your guitar amp, you can run that XLR out direct into the front of house console. And that XLR out on the Captor has a switchable cabinet simulation, which it's analog. It's an analog cabinet sim. We'll talk about the sound of that in a little bit. You're either a fan of that or you hate it. But we'll talk more about that. And then there's another balanced 1/4 inch line out that has a volume control on it that you can just run direct in. You can run that direct into your audio interface or whatever. You can run either of those two outputs on the front of the Captor into your audio interface. The only real difference is one is XLR, one is 1/4 inch. The XLR has cabinet simulation for both guitar and bass on it. So what we've got going here tonight is I've got both outputs of the Captor hooked up into my audio interface, the line out is being recorded dry, so we can hear what the dry signal sounds like. And we'll talk about why you would do these different things. The line out is dry. The XLR out has the guitar, analog guitar cab sim on it. And I'm also miking up the V30 so you can kind of hear a real speaker with a real microphone on it. So let's just go ahead and check out some sounds here. This is my software here. First thing you're looking at is my mic. So that's just me talking. Now, these are the 3 guitar channels I'm recording here. First one you see is the cab sim emulated out on the Torpedo Captor. The second one is my SM57 on my real Celestion V30. And the third one is the dry output from the Torpedo Captor. And after I just kind of demo all these sounds so you can get a quick idea of what they sound like, I'm going to record them. And then we'll play them back from Ableton, and we'll stick an IR on the dry one, which is what you would do if you were using this in a recorded situation. We would stick a speaker impulse response on it. So first off, let's hear the real thing. I don't noodle well in front of others, so you're never going to hear awesome guitar playing. So that was the real thing. That was a SM57 copy on the V30 speaker. And let's hear the cab sim out. So this is the signal being intercepted by the Torpedo Captor with the analog guitar cab simulation on. So let's get a listen to what that sounds like. Not terrible. It definitely, in my opinion, works for like a live scenario, like if you're playing at some shitty bar or whatever. And then here's just the dry line out. So this is the signal intercepted between the amp and the speaker being sent from the Torpedo Captor into my audio interface. No speaker treatment or anything added, and it's not going to sound good. So real buzzy, and that's what you expect when you don't have any cab simulation going on a guitar signal like that. But there's uses for that. So what we're going to do now, so you've heard all 3 sounds. Let's hop over into my DAW of choice, Ableton Live. And I've got 3 tracks set up here. I've got the 57. I've got the Torpedo Captor dry. So the dry signal coming, the one we just heard that doesn't sound good, but we're going to stick an IR in that. In fact, I've got an IR loader set up here with an IR audio on it. One of my favorite IRs, by the way. And then we're going to record the cab sim out, and we'll just kind of, get a comparison for these 3 signals. And I'm doing this bare bones. I don't even have a drum beat going. Hold on, let me find some sort of drum beat here I could play to. Okay. This is corny as hell, and I'm here for it. So, Syndustries will really like this. He was at those cyber goth parties. So, yeah. Okay, we're going to just record something really stupid and goofy to this. All 3 tracks. And then we'll go back and compare some sounds, and we'll mess with IRs a little bit. I'll unmute the real one, so you'll at least hear the real one while I'm recording. I'm new at this. That was really corny. And I barely kept it together, but not too bad for that. So let's just have a quick listen back. These are going to be loud as hell, so I'm going to turn them down some. And these are not. So we're going to bounce between the three and listen back and see what we think. And we will start with the 57, the real deal. All right, so let's go back to the analog cab sim and hear how that one sounds. Wow, that was really amazing playing. Okay, so the Captor cab sim, it's analog. It's got an analog cab sim sound, reminiscent of things like a Sans amp, and it really, they have their place, right? So let's go to our dry signal, and first thing I'm going to do is bypass the IR loader so we can get a reminder. So this is where the real power comes in for people doing what we're doing. You can record this dry signal. You can have this to mess with down the road and get the perfect IR speaker sound on it without having to get it perfect right there at that time. You can mic up, as I have done, your guitar amp with a 57 or blend of mics, what have you, and record that too, so you have that. You can also record the analog cab sim, or you can just pipe it in, use the analog cab sim to monitor, and you can listen to that so you've got something real-ish sounding while you're recording and not having to listen to the buzzy thing without any speaker on it, which is this. So, you know, the cool thing here is we just slap an IR loader plug-in on it. You just get some free IRs, and I'll point you to some places you can do that on the interweb. Some really good ones. In fact, this one is a free one. It is on the the maker of the Tone X models that I really like, Amalgam Audio, and they have their IRs for free. So yeah, let's have a listen with my favorite orange 4x12 V30 speaker IR. It's a really chonky sounding IR. I use this one so much. I use it on my Tone X through their JCM 800 captures, like for my cover band. It just, for something about it just works in the live setting. So anyway, now that we have like a high fidelity impulse response, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's better sounding than I could hope to get with my single V30 open back 1x12 at a super low volume with a 57. That's better than I'm probably going to be able to capture. Let's just A/B those two. So we're going to start with the Amalgam Audio V30, and then we're going to switch over to my V30 mic'd with my Pile 57. Really chonky. Now we're going to switch. Now that's that. You know, not that I wouldn't EQ the shit out of that orange. I'd probably take some of the woofy low end out of it, right? But here's the other magic thing: you can blend your signals. You could even make copies of your dry signal that you recorded and put it through different IRs. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. So it's very powerful and it's very convenient and low volume for people in our situation. Let's do this. Let's pan our orange V30 Amalgam Audio IR, pristine sounding IR, and let's pan my very trebly 57 on my real V30, right? And we'll volume match them, and then we will also, I'll probably EQ some of the low end out of the, in fact, I'm just going to do that now. I'll just, I don't know, I'll just cut around like 100. So the Ableton IR loader has this right here. If you don't use Ableton, there are free IR loaders out there that you can use. And yeah, I will link to those in the description of the video. And I don't know why I'm talking like this, but let's just get a taste of these two tones blended. Panning them didn't work too well. It kind of got all phasey. I'm going to mute the IR. That's just the real one. Now I'll unmute the IR. All right, so let's switch out the IR for a different IR. Let me see here. Okay, so Bogren Digital is a big maker of IRs out there. And let's just, I don't even know who the hell these people are, but this one, BDHV Creamback 3 mixed. So I'm assuming this is obviously a Celestion Creamback speaker. I can't remember which speaker that is. I'm not a nerd on speakers. But it's probably mic'd with a couple of different mics and all blended into one IR. So we're literally just going to take that, drop that in Ableton, and here we are. It is loaded. So this just shows you how easy it is to audition different sounds and see how well they work in your mix. So I've got that soloed up. Let's have a listen. Pretty freaking hot. Oops. That switched to an IR that's used for reverb, but that just shows you can do some real fun experimentation. Oops. All right, so we're back to the Creamback. Let's grab a different one here. Chainsaws. Ball grinding scoop. Yeah, that's pretty ball grindy scoop there. Let's just try some different ones. That's got kind of like a different upper mid thing happening. So I've got some IRs by Celestion here, and we'll just try this. This is a V30. I have a lot of V30 IRs. It's kind of got the happening. I can't really tell you what frequencies I hear, but I can tell you, oh, that one's got too much, Mind you, it kept the EQ. Here is a Fender Champ 1x8 IR. We'll do a Mesa Boogie. And the other thing to keep in mind is not all IRs are created equally. Some will just be louder than others. I don't understand why I haven't delved into making IRs, and probably won't. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's just a quick illustration of the flexibility that this setup affords you. Congratulations to my buddy on getting this thing. Once you get it set up and wired up, just like I did here, and you get a setup going, you'll be rocking and rolling. All right, bye-bye now.